I genuinely thought the hardest part of moving to Canada was going to be getting the visa, packing my bags into my 2 suitcases, or even saying goodbye to my family. But I was wrong, because just a few hours after arriving, I had nowhere to stay, no food, no family around me, no friends around me. Hi, welcome to the second part of my relocation story. If you've not watched the part one, I would link it in the cards or link it in the description for you to watch it. The beginning had me moving, packing my stuff, and then getting to the airport. When I arrived at Saskatchewan, eventually, and not finding my bags. So I was searching, I was just standing there and I was so confused. Where could my bag be, right? So then I was like, fine. I went to the attendants there and then I told them, so this is the case, I couldn't find my bags, right? And then they were like, so I should fill the form. So I filled the form. I was just so devastated and I was very tired from my trip. So I was like, let me just fill this form, take a taxi, go to the Airbnb, get some sleep, and then eventually maybe in the morning when I wake up, call the airports back and then see if there's any updates. But I was wrong again. So I went out and then I stopped the taxi and then I showed the driver that, so this is where I was going. And then he was like, sure, it's just a few minutes from the airport. And I was very strategic with the kind of accommodation I got because I knew that I was going to arrive at midnight and I wanted a place where I wouldn't have to stay too long in the car so I can get to my destination on time. Also, I booked an Airbnb and not a full accommodation because I knew that I was going to be in Saskatchewan for a few days and then come to Edmonton and then go back because the initial plan was to go to University of Saskatchewan. That was the plan. That's why I got an Airbnb instead of a full accommodation. And I've not seen my best friend in a long time, so I knew that I would definitely want to come here before school resumes. So even the immigration office in Toronto, when I was talking to the immigration officer and they were asking, so why am I here on too early? I told them that I wanted to get myself acquainted with the environment, everything that I'll be doing before school resumes and I'm not too confused or too overwhelmed, right? So that was what I said. So that's, if you're questioning, that is why I got an Airbnb. I told this guy that his name is Michael. He is Nigerian, I think. He's Nigerian, no shade. But I told him that, so I was going to arrive on day at this time. And he was like, so I was texting him back and forth when I was in Ghana. So I downloaded the app. I got a good place that was close to where the airport was because that was the plan, right? So that was it. I told you, and you're like, oh, you're going to put the key here. So when I come, I would find it. But when I got there, there was no key. And I'm so grateful for the driver that I got. His name is Khalid. Khalid was so helpful. I believe that he was God sent because when we got to the Airbnb, it was very late. Like I said, it was 12-ish, 1 a.m.-ish, right? And while we was driving there, it was like, this area is it's not safe. So because it's an Airbnb, it's okay, but in a day or two, I should move to another place. So we spoke in the car, we had a conversation, and then I told him, oh, my plan was to go to Edmonton. And he was like, so when I'm looking for another place, I should get a place closer to the school, not around that environment because it was not safe and all that. So when we go to the Airbnb, I just paid him to drop me off. So he could have just dropped me off there and left. But he was like, he feels like I'm his daughter. So he wants to make sure that I'm safe, especially because the environment is not safe. So we waited. So we took my things from the car. We went to the door of my Airbnb and I said there was no key and it wasn't there. So we're calling him I didn't have a Canadian telephone number at the time, so I couldn't call him. I also didn't have internet, so I couldn't even do anything. So fortunately for me, like I said, I really prepared, and with the help of my friend, I was able to know what to do, right? So I took pictures of everything when I was in the airport and I had internet, right? So I took pictures of everything, the guy's number, where he said he was going to leave the key, everything, so I don't forget. And we stood there, and this driver took the guy's number, called him several times, left voicemails, no response. And he was like, he can't leave me there at the door because it's not safe. So then he would take me to McDonald's because McDonald's said they open 24/7, right? So I was like, so since it was even good that I didn't have my 2 bags, so with just my carry-on, I could just wait at McDonald's till he hears from the guy, and then he would let me know. So he took my number, and then we drove to McDonald's. But when we got there, they said they had closed and they were just doing drive-through orders. So we're like, and at the time, I'd already told him I didn't have Canadian dollars. Immediately I sat in the car, I told him I didn't have Canadian dollars and I had USD. So if it was okay and he was going to take it, and he was like, yeah, so he'll take the convert, take his fare, and then give me back my change. I was like, sure. So from the conversation, he knew that I had not eaten anything. So when we got to McDonald's, he bought me food. He got me hot chocolate and hash brown also. And then after McDonald's said they can't let me in because they had closed and they were just taking drive-through orders. He said, oh, he knew another Airbnb closer, so he would take me to that one. So we went to that one. He spoke to the man. So he changed my USD for me. He didn't charge me for the food. He bought food for me for free. And then he gave me the change, gave the man, the Airbnb, it was an old man. So he gave him the money and then said, if anything, I should call him. So he spoke to the old man and explained everything to him. And the old man gave me, because I was coming at 1, it was almost 2 at this point. So because I was getting there around that time, they were like, oh, I was going to have to pay, I think, half of the Airbnb amount. But I didn't know the time that I was supposed to check out, right? So I went in time. I went to sleep because I was so tired. I was exhausted. I was drained. And then I woke up to a knock at my door, and it was a different lady, apartment manager or whatever. So she came and she was like, oh, I'm supposed to check out in 5 minutes or so. And I was like, what? And then she was like, so I went to the office and I was explaining to her, oh no, that was not the agreement. And then she was like, oh no, that was the procedure. And I was like, oh. So then I had to call this driver guy, Khalid. I called him and I was like, oh, this is what the woman was saying. So he spoke to the woman, tried to talk to her and everything. So he spoke to her, and then I think she still said the man was not there, so she didn't know the agreement. But eventually he was able to get her to take a percentage off, right? So then I paid the rest. And then he was like, oh, if anything, I should let him know. And because I didn't have a card, I didn't have DAD, I didn't know my way around, I didn't have anything. And my carry-on didn't really have a lot of clothes. It just had my knife, my sponge, those kind of things. So I wore this dress. This dress was the only dress I had. And I said I wanted to go out to go and walk around it, but it was cold. So all I was doing was ordering Burger King, McDonald's with my cousin's card. And I'm so grateful for all of them that came through for me. They really did come through for me, and I'm so grateful. So my cousin gave me his card, and that was what I was using to buy food. And eventually I got out, and this outfit, my hoodie and my pants, my jacket, was the only actual outfit I had. So then I went out to go and see the school because it was very close to the school. The new Airbnb was close to the school I was supposed to go to. So I went there to go and see around and all that. And then I called my friend, I called my family. I was like, oh, I was safe, I was good, all that. So I told the driver to go to the airport and follow up on my bags. and they were saying a lot of things. So I was like, fine. Instead of them bringing it to where I was lodging in Saskatchewan, they should rather take it to my friend's apartment, right? They should take it there. And at the time, they had already gotten me an accommodation there to stay with someone for the few months I was going to be there, right? So I told them that instead of bringing my bags here and then having to wait all that time before leaving, they should just take it to Edmonton. So even my commutes from Saskatchewan to Edmonton would be shorter. So that was what I did. And then they eventually took the bags to Edmonton before I got to Edmonton. So I think 2 days or so, 2 or 3 days later, I left Saskatchewan and then came to Edmonton. And I used Rider Express, a 5 hours drive from Saskatchewan to Edmonton. In the whole drive there, I was just thinking, I was like, God, this was really not how I envisioned everything. This was not how I thought it was going to go. But everything happens for a reason, right? So that was how I met this amazing driver, and he was so helpful. The day I was going to the Rider Express to take the bus to Edmonton, he came to pick me up and then took me to the Rider Express station to be able to come here. And when I came here, we're still in communication. It's just been a while I spoke to him about it. So I got here, and then my friend came to pick me up, and I was so happy because I haven't seen him so long. So I was like, yay. I was really excited. And then I got to this new place that they got for me. And so there was no bed, nothing. The place was empty. So it was an unfinished place at the time. So there was no bed. So the woman gave me a duvet. That's what I put on the ground. And I was sleeping on that for the first few months. I didn't get to go back to Saskatchewan because I decided to just stay back here and go to the other school that I also got admitted to. So I started doing the process and every class. It was way expensive for the Saskatchewan school. So I just decided to go with this one. Plus, I had a friend here having to go and start all over again because I'm starting all over here. But it just made sense to me to stay here where I had a friend and at least could help me navigate my way and not make me feel so lonely. Because I'm sure we've all seen videos or heard stories of people being lonely and depressed, and you're like, and people say, oh, if it's too much, just come back home. But right, it's not that easy. I was lying on that bare floor for a couple of months, 3 or 4 months, before eventually she got a bed. My first bus experience was crazy because before school, so now that I was moving from the Saskatchewan school to the school here in Edmonton, I had to be going to the school to talk to them, the administration and student service center and everything. So I needed to be conversant with the bus system because it was new. I didn't want to get to the day that I was supposed to go somewhere and then now I'll be struggling. So I started just take trial ride, and I got lost so times, countless times. I still get lost, but now I know my way around. Looking at maps or reading the map and everything. Now it's a way of living here, so you get used to it. That was my experience, and till now my family don't really know what I had to go through to adjust and everything. I know that I'm the product of the goodness of the Lord. It wasn't easy, but it's been worth it. I have a few things that I would do differently if I was coming again. But then again, I feel like everything that you go through in life gives you the opportunity to encourage someone that needs it too. I was telling my friend recently that maybe she was going through something, and I was telling her that maybe what you're going through is not really for you. It's so that someone will benefit from your experience. So that is why I'm here sharing my experience. This encouraged you that whatever you're going through, God sees you. God knows you, and He would bring people strategically wherever you need them. So shout outs to my cousin, shout outs to my friend, shout outs to the driver, and shouts to everyone that helped me in this journey. If this encouraged you, send it to anyone that needs it. Share it with anyone that you know really needs an encouragement. Needs someone that sees them. Let them know that you see them. Let them know that it's like you're right there with them. And more importantly, God is with them. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any other question, drop it in the comment section, and I will be so glad to answer all your questions. Looking back now, it's funny because when people see me now, they see, oh, you completed school and the life that I've built here. What they don't see are the moments when I got scared, when I was stranded, uncertain, and wondering if everything will work out. And honestly, that's why I would always be grateful to God and also be grateful for this journey, because it has taught me that the beginning of your biggest blessings in life doesn't look anything like you imagined. So just like the story of Joseph, go to prison before you get to your promise. And I know that like the promises of God do not fail. God says things and does them, and everything that He says are true. So I trust God that He has brought me to this point. It will give me a good end. It will give me a good future. Would make all things beautiful in its time. There's more better things to come. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.